From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway. This is your News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, November 16th. The final mild day in the forecast is today. Clouds are going to increase later in the day with winds picking up as well, gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour at times. And then showers are going to come back into the picture by later tonight. Highs today are going to top out in the mid-60s. Following breaking news this morning, a child is dead after a shooting at a Northeast Side apartment complex. Now, Indianapolis police are desperate to find the gunman. It happened just after 8:30 last night at the Villages at Mill Crossing Apartments, not far from 38th Street and Sherman Drive. When police got there, they found a boy who was hurt from a gunshot. He was taken to the hospital and died. Police think two groups were involved in the shooting, but that the child wasn't a part of either of them.
There's a mother out here who just lost a child. That has to wake our community up. And we continuously talk about this over and over again about conflict resolution. It's certainly important, and this is why. You took it upon yourself, you picked up a firearm, and you hurt someone who had absolutely, to our knowledge, nothing to do with whatever disturbance that you had amongst each other. And it's so sad that a mom has to go through this.
Police are asking if you have any information to call IMPD or Crime Stoppers. Police arrested a man wanted for murder in Marion. Police say 25-year-old Keegan Mills shot Quentin McCool yesterday afternoon on South Miller Avenue in Marion. Police say McCool's girlfriend called them screaming for help. He later died at the hospital. Mills was later arrested in Kokomo. He faces preliminary charges of murder, attempted murder, and possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. We should learn more today from the judge in the Delphi murders case about why she believes she should not be removed from the trial. The state Supreme Court has set this afternoon as a deadline for Judge Francis Gold to respond to the call by attorneys for Richard Allen. Allen wants his original attorneys reinstated and Gold removed from his case. Gold removed Andrew Baldwin and Bradley Rossi from Allen's defense team after a leak of evidence and crime scene photos in the deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German. Allen says the judge is biased against him and his legal team. The Supreme Court has not set a deadline on when it might rule. Allen's trial is set for October of next year. 24 Indiana counties are under burn bans. Dry weather first prompted the bans. Most of the affected counties are in southern Indiana, which includes Shelby, Monroe, and Brown counties. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita says he will appeal a court ruling exempting IPS from the $1 school building law. Rokita announced his intent yesterday to challenge the decision. A Marion County judge ruled this week that IPS will not be required to sell two former school buildings for $1 each. IPS wants to sell Raymond Brandis School 65 and Francis Bellamy School 102. There is a state law that requires school districts to offer the buildings to charter schools for that price before selling them on the open market. Historians are urging caution at the site for the new Indy 11 stadium because the construction could uncover old gravesites. The land for the development between the White River and Kentucky Avenue used to be Greenlawn Cemetery. Over the years, many remains have been moved to other cemeteries, but one local historian says it may have been the largest African-American burial site in Indiana and that some 2,000 bodies remain unaccounted for.
It's a matter of respect. This is sacred ground. This is a burial site. We're not talking about a place where animals are buried. We're talking about a place where human beings are buried.
News 8 spoke to the Keystone Group responsible for building the new stadium. It says it has a plan in place to follow all city and state laws and regulations for the development. An ITmate is finding mixed reaction to Governor Holcomb's order for a new water study connected to a massive economic development project in Boone County. We've followed the LEAP project closely. It's a 9,000-acre site that will include production facilities for Lilly. Governor Holcomb this week ordered new studies on a plan to divert water from northern Indiana counties to the site. Several communities have objected to the plan. The Stop the Water Steal campaigning against the project believes there needs to be long-term solutions to the problems.
I'm not opposed to expansion of studies. The question is, what is the goal of the studies? Is the goal of the studies to understand the problem and try to figure out how we can deal with it? Or is it just another search for water that can be transported to an industrial project, a poorly planned industrial project in Boone County, Indiana?
The study is set to be done early next year. And President Joe Biden has nominated 2 new federal judges for Northern Indiana. The president announced Crystal Briscoe and Gretchen Lund as his choices Wednesday. Briscoe, who currently serves as a judge in St. Joseph County, would be the first black woman to serve on the bench in the state's Northern Federal District. Lund currently serves as a judge in Elkhart County. Both still need to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Republican Senator Todd Young indicated he would support both nominees. Congress has approved a bill to avoid a government shutdown for now. The Senate passed on an 87-11 vote the plan from the House. The bill now goes to President Biden to sign. The bill keeps government funding at current levels for 2 months. It does not include aid for the wars in the Middle East and Ukraine. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer supported the bill, but says the new House leader needs to keep reaching across the aisle. Indiana senators split their votes. Todd Young voted yes. Mike Braun was one of the 11 no votes.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Allie Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
A peaceful protest boils over in Washington, D.C. On the grounds of the Capitol, people added candles during an evening vigil in a call for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Outside the Democratic National Committee headquarters, police and protesters clashed, leading to about 150 arrests. Several congressional Democrats and candidates were inside the building for a campaign reception when chanting outside interrupted it. Protesters said they wanted to block entrances to force politicians to hear their message. Capitol Police say officers rushed into the reception and moved lawmakers to the basement. China's president says he will help curb production of fentanyl to stem the flow of the drug into the United States. The pledge came as President Xi Jinping met with President Biden yesterday for the first time in a year. The two also discussed China's growing military presence around Taiwan and the war in Ukraine. The AP reports President Biden asked President Xi to use his global influence and diplomacy in the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Also on the table, an agreement between the U.S. and China to resume military communications. President Biden acknowledged that the relationship between the U.S. and China is one of competitiveness. China has also agreed to send new pandas to American zoos. Today, the next step in possible new charges for actor Alec Baldwin for the deadly shooting on a movie set. The grand jury is set to hear from prosecutors and witnesses. The cinematographer on the film Rust died from a shot from a prop gun. Baldwin was holding it as part of a rehearsal. He contends he did not pull the trigger. Firearms experts have said he must have. Prosecutors dropped an involuntary manslaughter charge against him in April. More cast members from Friends are posting online tributes to their late co-star Matthew Perry. Matt LeBlanc was first earlier this week. Now, Jennifer Aniston, Lisa Kudrow, David Schwimmer, and Courtney Cox have joined him. Aniston's tribute included a photo of her and Perry and a scene between their characters on the show. Kudrow shared a Polaroid pose with Perry, ending her post with "Thank you for the time I got to have with you, Matthew." Schwimmer's tribute included a photo showing what he calls one of his favorite moments with his co-star, with the two in a Miami Vice garb in a flashback scene. From Courtney Cox, "I am so grateful every moment I had with you, Maddie, and I miss you every day." She also talks about how he often gave her funny lines to use in the show. Perry died October 28th. He was 54. All right, get ready to hear "Please Keep Your Hands Inside the Gravy Boat." Holiday World is revealing a first look at the trains from its upcoming ride called Good Gravy. The debut is happening this week at a trade show in Florida. According to an animation of the plans, the boats will take riders on a roller coaster journey that includes zipping through a cranberry sauce can and a house decorated for Thanksgiving. The ride is set to open in the spring. The Fishers High School Band is getting ready to leave for New York City. The Marching Tigers are set to perform in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The students are practicing today at the school. The school says 253 students will perform and have been preparing since June. The award-winning Carmel Christkindl Market opens Saturday. And there is a lot of fun to be had there. It kicks off 11 Saturday morning with an opening ceremony. Organizers say the market is a way to experience an authentic German Christmas right here in Indiana. Visitors can enjoy food and drinks from more than 20 vendors, as well as shop for unique gifts or enjoy festive music. You can see craftsman demonstrations and even ice skate on the Carter Green. The market is open every week, Wednesday to Sunday through Christmas Eve. And business headlines and some Amazon hiring employee practices. Some leaked documents from Amazon show that those failing to meet office attendance requirements will need a VP's approval to get the proposed promotion. Business Insider reports Amazon managers can now terminate employees who continue to refuse to come into the office at least 3 times a week. Robots will outnumber people at UPS's massive new warehouse near Louisville. The company says robots help retain workers and reduce injuries. The $79 million facility, with more than 3,000 robots by the end of next year, will handle tasks like lifting and reduce the need for manual labor. That level of automation means UPS can run the warehouse with about 200 workers. Employees at the General Motors pickup truck plant in Fort Wayne rejected the tentative labor agreement between the car maker and the UAW by a wide margin, while workers at a large facility in Texas approved it. That sets up a tight vote on the final day to ratify a deal, which is today by 4 p.m. Detroit time. So far, the union has turned down the agreement in Tennessee, Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. The U.S. Postal Service was supposed to break even by 2023. Instead, it lost $6.5 billion. The Postmaster General says it will not even break even next year either. First-class mail has dropped to its lowest volume since 1968. Okay, would you give up internet for a whole year just to sleep better? A new survey revealed almost half of Americans said yes, absolutely. A new poll of 2,000 U.S. adults by Mattress Firm and one poll found 45% would be willing to give up the internet for a full 365 days to help their sleep, while others would give up their phone, their car, and promotions at work. This has been your News 8 Daily 8. For Wish TV, I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.